Hello and welcome to my video guide on how to catch bigger pike. My name is Paul Gustafson and I've been fishing for pike for over 25 years. During that period of time I've caught some pretty big fish, and I'm going to demonstrate some of the techniques that I've adopted over that period of time to catch some of the better ones. This is one of two complementing videos I have produced on pike fishing and concentrates on summer and winter piking, while its counterpart deals mainly with tackle and techniques. With me for this programme is an old sea fishing friend of mine, Austin Ashman. Well, Austin, are you looking forward to experiencing this new branch of fishing?
As you know, I'm a deep sea fisherman. I'm prepared to come along and do the netting for you, and hope at a later date to pick the rod up and do the fishing myself.
Well, later in the programme you can see how Austin and I got on when we tried our hands at winter fishing in a gravel pit, and how that contrasted with a day out we had on the river in the summer. But first, let's look at the fish itself and find out something about this magnificent creature. The pike has become one of the most efficient underwater predators of all time, and relies on its excellent eyesight, speed and a series of organs which make up the neuromass system. These are responsible for detecting the range, bearing and movement of its prey, and are exquisitely sensitive to water being displaced around its body. Looking at the pike in the water, notice the pectoral and dorsal fins moving delicately so as not to disturb its own neuromass system. And the eye, perfectly positioned, can easily spot prey at close range. This dace stands little chance against the hungry pike. Unusually, the pike grabs and swallows the fish tail first. Well, as many of you are probably aware, rivers can become out of sorts in the winter, and this is where gravel pits come into their own. So Austin and myself set off one mild February morning to see what we could catch. Right, Austin, we're on time anyway.
Yes, it looks a perfect day for it too.
Yeah, it is.
Bit of frost, but
yeah, we had a bit of frost overnight, but you expect that with virtually a full moon.
Will that make much difference, or?
Well, I've never been a great believer in fishing gravel pits in frost, but I thought I'd bring you down here this morning.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of roach and bream accumulating around this area, and I think we ought to give this a go.
That means the pike are about in this area.
The pike will be in this corner, I should imagine, and although it's been cold overnight, we're going to get the sun on the water about 10:30. I like to arrive on the water before the light breaks through, so that I am set up and have my baits cast out into position before the light intensifies. I like the bib and brace myself, so I've got plenty of movement in the upper body. With the one-piece straight jackets, as I call them, you're
restricted, aren't you?
You're very restricted. Arriving this early is really important, as some pike will feed on first light, and I always like to give myself the greatest possible chance. It is also important to arrive early to get some idea of feeding spells, so fishing a pit for a complete day helps in recognising feeding periods. My time can then be utilised properly, and I can fish 2 or even 3 pits in a day. Well, there's a ripple out there now, Austin, and that's what we were hoping for.
Yes.
I never like to fish in flat calms, and this ripple's heaven sent as far as I'm concerned. So that's marvellous. I've always found, Austin, that pike feed far better with a ripple on the water, because that the light is bent and refracted.
Yeah,
and
it
of
breaks
course,
up the mirror vision.
it breaks up the mirror vision, and they can creep up on their prey and take advantage of it.
Yeah. That's a canopy.
Yes, this is a bow-framed landing net. These are solid fiberglass arms.
Yeah.
And solid aluminium spreader block. And what I've found in the past is that if you break a draw cord, this is about 70 or 80 pound nylon coated wire, you can't replace your draw cord while you're fishing. So we came up with the idea a few years ago of being able to unscrew this and put your draw cord through this.
Oh,
so
I see.
If you break your draw cord,
you can do it quickly. You can
do it quickly while you're on the bank. But that's my landing net, and that's 13 years old, 14 years old, and although it looks a little bit rough and ready, it does the job.
It is rough and ready, but it's a good job.
It's like me, I'm rough and ready. For this particular pit, I have brought along both 11-foot rods with a through action for close range work and heavier 12-foot rods which will enable me to cast out half mackerel at range. Beats the old tank aerials, doesn't it, Austin?
Yes, it does. The trouble is
Deadbait, of course, is usually quite selective and normally picks out the better fish. So today I am using half mackerel, which I can present both at close and long distance. So there it is, Austin, as you haven't done this before.
That's right.
They're 2 size 8 trebles, extra strong. And they're very loosely pinned into the side of a mackerel. And you can see I've chopped the tail off here.
Yes.
And I've chopped across the mackerel, and this will basically go out like a bullet.
Yeah, that stops, that with the tail off, stops it fouling the line,
It stops it fouling the line, and it stops it twisting and turning in the air when you cast it.
Yeah.
So that this mackerel is going to go out like a bullet, basically. So if you look at the rig carefully, Austin, you'll see that the hooks are not supporting the bait at all.
No.
There's a loop of line put round the root of the mackerel's tail. As you can see, the loop of line from the root of the tail leads up to a plastic bait supporting link.
Yeah.
And that link is taking all the weight and it's taking all the thrust of the cast. So the hooks, in fact, are not doing any bait supporting.
I see there's no pressure on the hooks.
There isn't any pressure on the hooks at all.
No.
The important thing is that the hooks clear the bait. A lot of pike fishermen bury their hooks into the bait, and of course they get a run, they get a take, and they strike, and the hooks don't come out of the bait, and they're not really using a treble hook to its full potential.
No.
I like to see both trebles come clear of that bait, and hopefully if we get a run, maybe in a half an hour, an hour's time, you'll see exactly what I mean. The other thing I've done with this rig is that I brought the wire through this loop of line. You can see it is a loop of line, so that I get my bait back as well, because I don't want to leave around on the bottom. If there's free offerings out there, then the pike are likely to pick up the free offerings instead of my bait.
That's very good thinking, actually.
That was a 3-pound test curve rod. These rods have got a 4-pound test curve, and they are heavy rods. But when you're casting out a 6, 7 or 8 ounce frozen mackerel, you need a heavy rod. And these rods for jack dead baits.
I see. Okay, well.
Okay, so we'll see if the rig works, shall we?
I missed him.
Nice to see 1 or 2 birds around anyway. I felt reasonably confident as my baits were cast at range towards the features I knew to be present in this unfished gravel pit.
Got it?
Yeah, that's it, Austin.
Lovely.
What we can't see...
Pardon?
What we can't see is that there's a submerged gravel bar out there in this corner.
I see.
I've put that bait just on the drop-off, just on the side of that gravel bar.
Yes.
So hopefully we might get a take on that rod. You've noticed that I'm making a bit of a mental note where I'm casting these baits.
I've just begun to think, well, it's obvious you've done the ground view of this lake.
Yeah. I've picked out that tree on the far bank. It's important to me that I can put a bait there again and repeat the cast.
Yeah.
Because if I get one fish, there's probably another fish in the area.
So you more or less got, you know, your distance of your cast to get
I know
to that
roughly the
bar,
distance, where the bait landed across, level with those rushes over there.
Yes.
And of course, dead in front of me, we've got that. that.
Oh, I see. You've got your
The
bearing
tree.
that way. Yes, yes, yes.
But a lot of pike anglers, they cast out a bait, get a take, and they don't know where they've cast that bait. They've forgotten where they've cast that bait, and they can't repeat that cast.
I see. So possibly where there's one, there's two or three more.
There could be two or three, and
Yeah.
especially at this stage of the season. I made a point of pulling the line really tightly up to my baits so that I would get an immediate indication of a take. This location did not prove to be that productive initially, but it wasn't long before we got a run on another bait positioned further down the bank. That's away, Austin.
I'm on your left.
This is away. You're on your left. Okay. I think this is a better fish, Austin. This is a better fish. Looks a 20 anyway from a distance, but we'll find out and see what it is when we get it in. It looks a nice fish. Well, it's a double anyway, I think, Austin. Get it right in the net.
Right up.
Good boy. Well done.
Here's a nice one.
That's a nice fish. That's a nice fish, Austin. Great. Smashing. Okay. Beautiful. This was a nice fish, which was beautifully marked and in good condition. She was really lively, and we got her back into the water as quickly as possible. However, I was hoping for even better things to come. And aren't those fins beautiful?
Beautiful condition.
Yeah,
right through, isn't he?
He hasn't seen a hook before.
No.
But there we are. So we've had our first
That's the one we're
nice,
after.
nice pike, Austin. Nice fish.
Yes, very
And
nice.
I think that's worth coming for, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes.
So, shall we?
Beautiful job.
We'll slip him back in
Yes.
nicely. Smashing looking fish. And there he is. Quite a formidable mouth on them, haven't they? And if you look at those nostrils, very good sense of smell. So we'll plonk him back. We'll just hold him there for a moment. And away he goes. Right, Austin, now you see what I mean? You've got to keep the rod up high.
Yeah.
It's very weedy out there. And he's pulling against that weed, you can see him. I've got to lift him out of that. And this is where these heavy rods come in. I don't know if it's a massive fish, but he's hooked anyway.
Yeah.
It's only a small one. But you saw the way we had to get him up out of that weed.
Yeah.
Right, and if you could just put the net under that, Austin. Well done. Good. And always hold the net by the arms, never lift it by the handle. Okay, good.
Right.
We'll lift that fish out of the water. Right, straight onto the sack. It's a nice little fish, Austin.
He is a nice one, isn't he?
He is a nice fish. Now, you can see here what I said earlier, Austin. We get our bait back. That's the first thing, okay?
Yeah.
And I've hooked that pike, and you can see this has just been caught. This is not done for the cameras. There's the hook in the corner of the mouth. Be careful with hooks in the net, okay?
Yes.
So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this fish away from the net.
I'll move
Okay,
the
all
net.
together.
Yeah.
If you could move the net, a firm grip of the fish. If I could just take those forceps. Because there's a lot of gravel on this bank, we're going to lay this little chap on this sack. And you can see I'm coming astride of this pike, astride of this fish. I don't want this fish to damage itself. And it's been out of the water long enough now. I'm putting one hand under the gill raker. And you can see there is the hook in the side of the mouth.
Yeah.
And all as you do, Austin, is just lift that out, okay? The pike hasn't touched the gravel.
No.
There's nothing to be afraid of. There's over 600 teeth in there.
Yes.
And if handled the wrong way, then they're dangerous.
You're in trouble.
This is no problem at all. Not to be afraid of.
Yeah.
If the fish is handled properly.
Yes.
Okay, it's lovely fish. These gold bars are what they've got when they're young.
Yes.
After a couple of years, they begin to break up and they get these lovely oval dapple spots because they're hunting in deeper water.
Yeah.
These are far better for camouflage in deeper water than what these
Oh,
bars
I see.
are.
Yeah, this is like for in the weed and all.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's a nice little fish.
Lovely
It's in good
condition,
condition.
isn't he?
So
Yeah.
let's get that back. And we'll slip that back in the water. And there
There
she
he
goes.
goes.
And that pike hasn't been hurt at all.
No.
Of course, location is one of the most important factors when fishing any gravel pit, because if we can't find the pike, we certainly won't catch them. This is where a deptho plug or an echo sounder is invaluable, as they will give the angler rough depths of any contour information within the pit. We can then fish the water with greater confidence and understanding. There are pits which have points that protrude and divide bays, and any pike navigating from one bay to another can be intercepted. Therefore, they are really commanding points to fish from, and if they have submerged islands in front of them, then so much the better, as pike can also ambush their prey. Shallow areas with plateaus are also worth trying, when the sun's rays warm up the shallow water. This in turn attracts plateau feeders such as roach and bream, and of course the pike are never very far away. In cold weather, deep troughs can fish really well, and the area directly in front of the island on this pit contains a huge population of bream. I have found that pike will hunt along the outskirts of the trough on the drop-off in about 12 feet of water. Other pits may have sticks and trees in the water. These areas offer the pike cover and refuge from open water and are excellent places to fish. So remember, for continued success in catching good pike, research into any pit is of the utmost importance. Okay then, Austin, let's do the business on this.
When you're ready. Looks like a good one.
I don't think it's massive, Austin. Having said that, you never can tell. Some of these big fish do come in gently.
Keeping this side of your rod.
See the weed caught on the line there, Austin?
Yeah.
This is why we're using fairly heavy line. Oh, it's not a bad fish,
not a bad
Austin.
fish.
He's not a bad fish.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a nice fish.
Yeah.
They're going quite well.
In beautiful condition. These
Oh, they
pike,
are.
aren't they?
It's a lovely pit, this as well.
Yes.
It's nice when they haven't been fished for and been touched. He is going well, this fish, Austin.
He is.
And here he comes.
Hold on gently.
I'll pull him over nicely. He's not a bad fish, this.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
we've got him.
He's a
Beautiful. And
He's
there's
a nice fish.
another nice double. Isn't he? I'm delighted with that, Austin.
He is a beautiful fish.
Delighted. Okay. If we can put him straight over onto this sack, Austin.
That's it.
Again, keep him off the gravel. Oh, yes.
He is super fish, isn't he?
Yeah, look at the colours on that, Austin.
Beautiful.
Isn't that a lovely fish?
Yeah.
Let's come round. A powerful fish in here. If you can just
Keep
hold
that
that
taut,
trace
yeah.
for me, Austin. I'll just slip the hooks out of this.
The teeth in that one.
It's not deep. It's just in the corner of the mouth, and
Yeah.
if you could just pull that out now, Austin, that bait will just pop out. Go on, nice hard pull. I'll lift it out with a forceps. And that's one heck of a mouth, isn't it?
Condition of them
Oh,
is really
they're gorgeous,
superb.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. And that one, look. Never seen a hook.
Yeah.
We won't weigh him, but you can see it's a reasonable fish. If you could just slip that net out, I'll just put him in this sack here, just to carry him down the bank. I mean, this is a precaution I use. A fairly decent fish like this, heavy fish, it's powerful fish. I wouldn't like to slip and drop him.
No, that's quite
Put
right.
him in the sack, and whilst they're out here, they're all right in a liquid environment. And there he is. Who's the prettiest, me or the pike?
The pike, of course.
The pike, of course. Delightful.
He's a delightful fish.
Okay, I just slip him back. You notice the colours, Austin?
Either way, beautiful.
The markings. And away he goes.
Look at that flick.
Well, Austin,
That's brilliant.
a good day.
Yes.
A good
Thank you very
day.
much.
Well, Austin, that was a nice day, wasn't it? Not the biggest fish I've ever seen, but we did catch some hard fighting fish nevertheless.
Well, it really opened my eyes to see how pike did really go, as you said.
River piking is of course a very different thing altogether. And a few weeks ago, Austin and myself set off in my boat to experience the hard fighting, athletic weirpool fish. Well, Austin, last time we came here, we had about 15 or 16 doubles, didn't we? Best fish was £21.7. And what a day that was, wasn't it? It was unbelievable, actually. We had a couple of... The weather was just the same as this, so maybe as we approach this weir, looking back on the day we had last year, Austin. Anyway, 21.7, 2 or 3 19s, 18s, all good fish, and we'll see if we can do something similar to that today. Just in here, this is where we had them, Austin, last time. Just by this slack water here. The weir pools of the Upper Thames are capable of producing outstanding sport and offer fast and furious pike fishing with lots of big doubles and a sprinkling of 20s with the occasional bigger fish. They're really great for this type of job, you know, Austin, these multipliers. Abu make the best multipliers in the world still, Austin. On this occasion I have opted to use 3-pound test curve rods coupled with multipliers and will concentrate on the sink and draw method with fresh trout for bait. Well, Austin wanted to eat these trout last night, but I managed to keep them for bait today. And we've killed them freshly. You can see they're lovely and flexible, they're nice and fresh. And I like to use a fresh bait. Frozen baits are all very well, but I've also found that trout, when they're frozen, tend to split up. The bellies split up and they only last 2 or 3 casts. But used fresh, there's nothing like them. So we'll place the dead bait wobble bar down the throat of the trout. Pin the first treble through top and bottom lip and just nick the lower treble, the bottom treble, very loosely into the flank of the bait, and that can be cast out. My first cast using an underarm technique was aimed at the white water just to the right of the boat. It's worth noting, incidentally, that the rate of retrieve and technique used are of the utmost importance. And we'll bring the bait right the way across the fast water, let it swing round in an arc on the crease. We can draw it through some of the back eddies, and we're really searching the water with this method. You can let it flutter down, bounce off bottom, let it ride up in the current. You can do an immeasurable amount of things with a well-used wobble bait. And for this type of fishing, there's no doubt the multiplier I'm using is the tool for the job. You've got a lot of control, a lot of thumb control. They're light. And of course, when you've got a rod in your hand, as I have for 13 or 14 hours in a day, you've got to have a fairly light reel. Fixed spool reels are no good for this job. the rate of retrieve is very, very crucial. We've got to allow a big pike enough time to make up its mind whether it wants this bait and bring it through the striking range or the striking zone slowly enough for a big pike to grab the bait. A lot of anglers, when they practice sink and draw, they wobble in the bait far too quickly and they pick off plenty of small fish. Fish has just taken that bait. Right, I'm going to wind down to this fish. Come on. He's shooting straight across that weir, and I had trouble staying in contact with him. This is not a bad fish, Austin. Good. Going very well. Big swirl there. I'll let you play for a while. Yeah. He's going right under the boat. And he's going straight across that white water, Austin. And these river pike, they don't mind this fast water.
It's amazing the strength he's got.
Oh, they've got amazing strength, Austin. Look at him. This is a powerful fish, Austin.
Yeah, I see. Oh, he is. He's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good fish, this.
A biggie.
They're really pulling these rods around, aren't they? You really got to give them some welly.
I won't open the net yet to the inside.
Come on. Oh yes, this is a nice fish.
Come tight. You want to come down.
Just net that fish. And that's beautiful, Austin. I'm really pleased with that.
Yes.
There's a double figure river pike caught on sink and draw using the wobble bar.
Beauty.
And I'm really pleased with that, Austin.
Congratulations, mate.
That's great.
Look at that.
And that's two.
Beautiful job. Didn't it?
Move that.
Look at the teeth in that thing.
This is a nice fish. I stand astride of them, Austin, to stop them flapping about and stop them hurting themselves.
Right.
So this is why we've got this padded flooring to keep them off the floor of the boat.
It's nice to see
What?
you've got some respect for the fish.
That's right, it's very important, that actually.
Absolutely.
But we're going to get him straight back. It's a lovely fish.
Lovely condition, isn't it?
16, 17, 18 years old maybe.
So that could reach 40 pounds, 45 pounds.
Well, river pike, if they make 20, 25 pounds, they've done very well actually. Right,
But
let's.
you've got to hunt for everything, don't you?
They have. Let's put this fish back. Let us get it back in the water as quickly as we possibly can. Well, a great fish for starters, which put up a fantastic fight and was in superb condition. Earlier, I had noticed roach scattering across the surface, and I was sure that some big fish had taken up stations behind some boulders on the tail end of the weir, so I decided to concentrate on that area next. This is a big, powerful fish. He's boring deep, Austin. Look at him go. It's a powerful fish, this, Austin.
Yeah. Got surfing on you. There you go. Want him in?
Not yet.
Want him now?
Take him now.
When you're ready.
Whoa! That's a better one, Austin.
Job, yeah.
Yes, that's more like it. Right, can you just pull up on that, Austin?
I'm pulling now.
That's it, that's got it.
That's beautiful.
Super fish, Austin. You can see I stand astride of them. Kneel astride of the fish so they can't shake about in the boat.
Yes.
But
The rubber matting, as you said.
yeah, that's right. And this fish went really well, as you saw. It's a better pike. And
Top condition. Huh?
oh, they're absolutely mint condition. And look at that.
Super.
Another female. Cracking pike, aren't they?
Beautiful.
These river pike.
That's super
Okay.
job. Perfect predator.
Slipping back nicely. So I say they get a bit gassed up. They blend in beautiful with this water, don't they, Austin?
There you go. Back to the deep.
Contrary to popular belief, many river pike like to feel the push of water on their backs, and when they want to pull in out of the main current, simply tuck themselves in behind boulders and debris strewn across the bottom. They can also attack their prey from such places, and it is these snaggy swims that often produce the best results. Along the middle of a pike's body are a series of tiny holes which make up the neuromass system. This is responsible for accurately detecting moving objects, and it is this, coupled with their excellent eyesight, that help make them the perfect predator. Therefore, our baits must move through the water in a realistic and lifelike manner in order to provoke a strike. Austin and myself continued fishing for the rest of the afternoon, catching some more doubles along with some smaller fish, and enjoyed an excellent day's sport with some more hard-fighting pike from the Weirpool. Well, Austin, another superb day, and in a fortnight's time I'm going to take you up to the Scottish lochs to troll for some of the big pike which I know exist.
Well, what we've just done, Paul, is unbelievable. What you said about pike fishing is a marvellous experience. I didn't believe it could be this great.
Well, we've come to the end of this programme on winter and summer piking. I hope you have found some of the methods interesting and are able to use some of the tips I have given. Don't forget to look out for my other video which deals with tackle and techniques. So from Austin and myself, it's bye for now, tight lines and good fishing.
Cheers.